Good morning and happy Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about how to stop feeling so rushed. This is a lifelong lesson for me, but something that I really relearned in a very practical way yesterday, and I want to share with you some of the things that I learned. So good morning and welcome. It is a cloudy morning, very cold, and lots of some kind of I don't know, freezing rain or what this morning, but it's cold. So we are not used to this kind of cold in the Nashville area. So anyway, welcome. So glad to have you all here. For those of you who are new, my name is Crystal Payne and I am the founder of MoneySavingMom.com. And I am also the creator of the 14-day online course called Make Over Your Mornings. It's 22 degrees in Indiana. School is closed here today too. It was 27. I'm not sure what it is today, but it's definitely, there's a lot of precipitation coming down and I think it's going to freeze and I think it's going to be a mess. But anyway, for those of you who are like in Minnesota or something, that feels warm, but for us here in Nashville, that is not warm. So anyway, I am the also wife to Jesse, and we have 3 kids. Catherine is 10, Caitlin is 8, and Silas is 6. And like I said, we live in the Nashville, Tennessee area, and we are self-employed entrepreneurs, and we homeschool our kids. So today we're going to be talking about how to stop feeling so rushed. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm the Money Saving Mom on Instagram, and yesterday I had a bad day. I told you yesterday morning, if you saw my scope, that I woke up with a bad attitude and I kind of got over it, and then the bad attitude came back, and it came back in full force, unfortunately. And I yelled at my kids. I don't know that I yelled at them, I snapped at them. Let's say that. It was like any little noise, I was on edge. And I was curt with my husband, and finally he was just sort of like, maybe you should just go upstairs, because it was no fun to be around. How did it go with the dentist? Well, just a second, and I'm going to tell you about that. And so it was just, I felt like the day was just spinning out of control. And then I finished homeschooling, even though that was kind of a hot mess, and I had a bad attitude, and we got that done. And then I was starting to work on my business work, and it just felt like there were so many emails and so many to-dos and so much stuff, and I was just frustrated. And I think it was about 12:30 that I finally was like, this day is off the rails. This is not working. And I have so much to do this afternoon, and then I was supposed to go to the dentist, and I had some other projects that I had put on my list, and I was just like, I can't do this day. And I told my husband, I was just like, I am feeling so overloaded and so overwhelmed and so stressed. And it was really silly. I mean, it was silly stuff, but it was like too much of all these little things. And all of that combined was just making me feel completely overwhelmed. And then because I was overwhelmed, I was feeling completely irritable. And then I was bringing down our whole house, because when mom's irritable, then it kind of makes everybody else irritable. So finally, I had that light bulb moment that I should have had at the beginning of the day. And that was something that we've talked about earlier. You know, I need to practice what I preach. And that was, you are not a victim of your busyness. You are not a victim of busyness. No one said that I had to be doing all of these things. Really, I was putting it on myself. I mean, of course, there's some basic things that I have to do every day, but I had put all these things on my list because we'd had a really good week last week. And so I started feeling kind of like, I got this. And so I can add a lot of new things to my list because, you know, this getting up early thing is helping me to be so productive. So let's just add more to the list because I can be productive. And by doing that, I overloaded my schedule. And so just reminding myself that I am not a victim of my busyness. And I'm going to share with you some practical steps that I took, but I wanted to read this. This is from the 5 a.m. Miracle, and I've already read part of this, but I need to read it again because this was what really kind of stopped me in my tracks when I remembered you're not a victim of busyness, and I thought back to this part of the book. He says, don't drown in your own commitments. It's easy to take credit for your successes, but quite the opposite when it comes to your failures. It's never easy to point the finger at yourself when you have made a mistake, missed a deadline, or just never gotten around to finishing something you started. What I find most intriguing is that it's nearly impossible to get anyone to admit that they are overly busy because of their own choices. We like to play the victim and believe that being busy is normal, expected, or worse, unavoidable. The reality, though, is that if you are too busy, it is because you committed to too many things. You made your schedule, said yes to too many projects, and refused to turn down all those enticing invitations. If you want to turn things around, free up your schedule, and avoid being buried in work, then just say no. Over obligator. Yes, James, that's good. Say no to the next invitation or pointless office meeting, no to the next party or social event that keeps you up late, and no to the next anything that doesn't align with the highest and best use of your time. I'm not recommending that you quit your job, totally avoid your friends and family, and strive to do as little as possible. However, that's the kind of creative space that leads to breakthroughs you will need to avoid drowning in your own commitments. Be willing to let go and say no. Clear your calendar and only begin to fill it with the tasks, projects, and goals that are essential to achieving what truly matters most in your life. So that was from the 5 a.m. Miracle, and it really challenged me. So what did I do when I knew that we were on this downward spiral that I had created that was causing stress for our whole entire family? Well, I wanted to share 4 things that I did yesterday. Number 1, I had to reassess my schedule and reassess my to-do list. And I realized that I had put a lot of things on that to-do list thinking, yeah, I can write 4 blog posts. No, yesterday was not the day that I needed to write 4 blog posts. Or I need to clean out my inbox. Yesterday was not the day that I needed to clean out my inbox. I can answer the important emails, but if I'm already feeling up to here, I don't need to obligate myself to other things. I also realized that, you know what? I was supposed to go to the dentist yesterday and get my cavity filled. And I thought, my husband was like, you can reschedule your appointment. And so I did. I rescheduled it to a day with nothing else going on. And I realized that was kind of the straw that was breaking the camel's back. It was because I knew that I was going to have to drive to the dentist. I didn't know how long it was going to take. And then I didn't know, was it going to be painful? And then, you know, all of that, which was, I know, silly, but it was just kind of stressing me out. And then I was going to have to drive back home, and there was probably going to be bad traffic, and then it was going to take longer. And I was like, this is probably going to take 2.5 hours of my afternoon. And I was already feeling overwhelmed. And so it was like, I could just say no and reschedule my appointment. And so I did. I just rescheduled the appointment, and I felt like this weight had been taken off of my shoulders. It was a silly thing, yes, but it made such a big difference. So really assess your to-do list. What's the straw that's breaking the camel's back? Is there kind of 1 or 2 things on there that they are just what's making you feel overwhelmed? And is there a way that you could simplify or maybe reschedule them to another day? 2, stop feeling obligated to others and to yourself. I mean, really seriously, to be totally honest, I put these obligations on myself yesterday. I had just added all this extra business work because, I don't know, I thought I was a productivity queen or something without thinking about everything else that was on my plate yesterday. So stop feeling obligated. Just take that stuff off. Really examine, am I feeling obligated to myself? Like, I need to do this stuff. 3, get good at disappointing people. So 2016 is my year of rest, and I kind of forgot about that yesterday. But one of the big things that I'm really challenging myself to do is when I get asked to do anything, if immediately when I get asked, I don't feel like, yes, I want to do that, then I'm usually going to say no. So that is my barometer for everything. Now, I have to go to the dentist to get my cavity filled. And of course, I'm not going to be like, yes, I want to do that. I do not want to do that. But so there's things like that that I cannot, I have to say yes to that. But there's a whole lot of other things that I do not have to say yes to. And I don't have to feel like I have to be obligated to other people and that I shouldn't disappoint anyone, including myself. So number 1, reassess your to-do list. Number 2, stop feeling obligated to others and to yourself. Number 3, get good at disappointing people. And number 4, make space for your soul to breathe. Make space for your soul to breathe. You notice that I was late getting on this morning, and that was because I just really felt like I needed to take a little extra time this morning to have some quiet. I just needed to sit and be quiet. And so that is what I did. Even though I knew I was going to be late on Periscope, I thought, you know what? I need to make space for my soul to breathe. And it's okay if I'm late on Periscope because I need to take care of myself. So what makes you feel calm, quiet, and refreshed? What makes you feel calm, quiet, and refreshed? What do you need to do to make space for your soul to breathe? I really challenge you to take time to do that today, whatever that is. With that in mind, I'm going to say that we are not going to do a scope this afternoon. I looked at my schedule and I was like, you know what? I want to make space for my soul to breathe today. And so this afternoon, I'm not going to do a Money Making Mom scope, but I did want to remind you that tomorrow afternoon, I am doing a webinar that's like a Money Making Mom webinar, only it's not going to be on Periscope, and it is with Chandler Bolt, who he is a self-published, best-selling author. And he's done some really amazing things in a short amount of time, and he's learned a lot of really great tips and tricks. So for those of you who are thinking, I think I want to write a book, but I don't know where to start, or I have this book that I've written, I don't know how to market it. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to do a webinar together, and he's going to share what he's learned, and we're going to talk about together some of the things that we've learned. We'll probably have some differing viewpoints, but I think it'll be really fascinating and interesting. So if you've ever wanted to know anything about self-publishing, come tomorrow. To sign up for the webinar, you need to go to MoneySavingMom.com/scope. MoneySavingMom.com/scope, and there's a link there to sign up for the free webinar. It's free. So that's tomorrow afternoon. So I hope that you all can join us then, and I hope that you have a great day. I'm going to hop off and hop back on to share some from the 5 a.m. miracle, but I just want to challenge you. Rest, not rushing today. Don't get caught up in the hustle. Remember that you are not a victim to busyness. Have a great day.